Walking into our mom's new cottage that's going to be on our property. It's so homey. It's got that rustic feel. We're going to do whatever we can to make it comfortable and pretty. But when her company would walk over and look out of her den window, this is what they would see. My backyard that is in desperate need of some attention. I've just about almost ignored it for the last 3.5 years. I don't want them looking at this. Something's got to be done. It's not going to be all done for this video, but I've got to start working on it quickly. It needs some help. I'm standing right outside my mom's window outside. Now, these boards are going to get moved in just a few minutes. These belong to the contractor that did the concrete work. They're not treated or anything, so we're pulling them off. I'm stacking them up, and we're doing it for different reasons because we have things in the way right now, and we have to pull the boards off to do other things. So he's going to come back though and finish the job and take his boards away, but I need to get them stacked up. This is the conduit that my electrician left that the plumber is going to use this week when he comes, so that'll be gone. This whole area is limestone to begin with because our daughter and her husband and my 2 grandkids that live with them put a camper here last year and lived here for 10.5 months. So this was a place to put their camper on. This crushed concrete sets up really well, makes a very hard surface, and they were able to level out and put their camper here for that 10.5 months. And I'm glad I have this because before that I just had weeds growing right up to my carport and all. I'm kind of glad I have this, but I need to do something, and I need to do it now. I think what will make the biggest difference out here is to actually just clean up the edge of this limestone and kind of make a bulkhead. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Under all this grass here is limestone. The grass has been growing up over it, and I need to mitigate that, which might not be easy. But if I could I think I'm going to pop a string line, put something in the ground over here, put something in the ground right by that meter pole and pop a string line to make sure it's straight. And then if I could excavate some of this limestone back up onto the pile, I've actually got little divots and holes that I need to fill in up here. I could do some raking, but if I could just take some of this limestone and put it up there, that would help. But get a straight line here. What I was going to do is I was going to rake up the limestone, get it raked up however I could. That's going to be a beast for me to do, I'm not going to lie. But I was going to put that 2x10 boards, put them up this way, and I have all of this rebar that my concrete guy had used and cut pieces of and all to do the slab for my mom's cottage. And I asked him, could I keep it? And he's like, well, yeah, you paid for it, you can keep it. So we kept it. So I've got all these pieces of rebar back here, and I was going to use those to pound into the ground behind the boards to keep the boards kind of straight up to make a bulkhead, because that's something I could do. I could get out there and drive these in the ground. I don't know if you can hear a tractor on my video right now, but my neighbor is out grading the road with his tractor, and I might have a little proposition for him to see if he would be interested in using his bucket to come help me do this. I'm thinking it through as I talk. It's what I do sometimes on these videos. I have to kind of think it through as I go. But if I could maybe mitigate a good bit of this grass, because a lot of it's just runners, long runners of like St. Augustine looking grass. If I could pick a lot of this grass out and he could come with his bucket and scoop or scrape or whatever it is you do, scrape it to about like say like there, and I could come behind it and lay 2x10s, 2x12s, and then use that rebar to make a bulkhead. They wouldn't tilt this way if they had the limestone. They wouldn't tilt that way because of the rebar. I really want some opinions though before I do that, to make sure that it would work. That's what my son-in-law was going to do to begin with, but I don't want to waste my time on something that may not work. What do you think? I'm coming back to the starting point, and let me line up kind of here. If I did a straight line there and all this ended up just being green grass here, you would have a straight line of boards visually. But it pretty much lines up to that meter pole, which I can't do a thing about. That's my meter pole for my house. But to hide it, I was thinking about kind of building a little arch there and planting something on it that would grow, from what I've told, really fast, and it weeds out, you know, it makes a big bushy vine all the way over. Maybe I don't need an arch. Maybe I just need a panel, like with a post here, and then a panel of mesh. I have tons of chicken wire, I have tons of stuff like that. But just make, I guess is what I'm thinking, just some type of little shield there to where when you look out here, not right now, but in months and maybe a year, you would be looking at a trellis thing or an arch or some type of panel that has a plant growing on it that is filled out and kind of blocking the view of that pole, which actually kind of helps block the view of the whole end of that 18-wheeler down there, which is where I kind of have some junk, and you know, you don't need to see that. This is the plant here, and it actually has a little grass or something growing up in it. But this is the plant that would be growing there. And what this is a Katrina rose. It's a Katrina rose plant. If you can see on the sticks there, there's little spiky things. It's a Katrina rose. There's a whole story behind this, but my friend has one at her house. After Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, some of the only plants that survived and looked pretty while they were rebuilding down there, one of them was this viney looking plant. It doesn't look like much. She gave me this. Her husband dug it up in some dirt and they put it in that pot, and she gave me this. And I have not planted it yet, and I need to. But she said when I plant it, it'll go crazy and it'll take over and go over an arbor. She has it on a big tall arbor that's probably 10, 12 feet tall, and it is overtaking that arbor. So I'm thinking I might could use the Katrina rose to help me block off that. If you know about Katrina roses, put your comments down there so everybody will understand that they're kind of special down here in South Louisiana. This is my friend Mella's Katrina rose. I did a video tour for my channel of her gardens at her house about 4 years ago, and at that time her rose was in full bloom. Look at it. So I'm thinking if I can even get mine to grow a third that well, it should be able to cover that meter pole. What do you think? My brother-in-law asked me yesterday if I wanted him to move this pole right here. It's from an old DirecTV satellite dish that was here when we bought the property. And I'm sure it's got a concrete poured base down there. So he said he would take that out for me. Somebody from my mom's window might never notice that there's not a hole here. They definitely would have noticed that there was, though. But once it's gone, it's just really something that'll make me feel better. I had gotten out here a while back and made a little area out here with a fire pit. I built a bench and I put some rocks there, and I filled the whole area with wood chips, and it looked beautiful. If I have a clip, I'm gonna insert it right here so you can see what I did. And the reason I did it was because my kitchen window is right there, and I washed dishes and stuff, and I would look out and it was so ugly back here. It was just horrid. No grass would grow back here. I was just looking at dirt and no grass. And so I did that for visual reasons. Let me see if I can show you the end result and what I would see from my window. If you can believe it, this is the same space. Look at how there's absolutely no grass in my backyard. And this pretty little piece was created here in the middle to give me a focal point. But now it's just all kind of fell apart. And I need to do something to make my yard look better. So what does all this have to do with my mom? Well, you see this straight out of her window. The reason I did all this was because no grass would grow back here. But the easiest way to get grass to grow is to do a project where you don't want grass to grow, because then the grass comes and gets all up in it. So now there is stubble and stuff everywhere. I think if I go ahead and rake off a lot of these wood chips and stuff, more grass will start coming up back here. I just think, it's starting to expand and want to come back this way, whereas it used to not. So I'm just going to let the grass kind of start growing. I'm going to start mowing more back here, letting those seeds spread everywhere, and hopefully I'll just have some grass. It won't give anything pretty for her to look at back here that I'm constructing or anything, but if I clean up what's back here, I think I'll feel better, and it'll just make a little bit of a plainer view. Other things I can't really do anything about. This is my grandson's little fort. I built him using the 2 sets of steps that came with our mobile home, and so I used those and made them a fort. They actually play on it, so that'll stay. And then my clothesline will stay, because it's also got cinder blocks down there and would be very hard for me to move. And actually I use it all the time, so my movable clothesline will stay. That's just part of it. I think it'll be nice though to look out that window sometimes and see clothes on the rack and all. I think that's fine. I'm not worried about that. Besides making a visual straight line with that limestone, I think the next best thing I can do is to stain this porch. It's treated lumber, but I never stained it, so it's just aged and it's looking tan and dull. I think that actually might be the number one thing, or that and the limestone. That's a tie, I guess. But for visual reasons, I think I can get more bang for my buck with a big nice can of the TWP stain and go ahead and do this porch. Now, my dog gets hot and he likes to dig all over our yard and get up under things, and he digs under this porch. I had some chicken wire around it to keep him out, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I took it down the other day when my mom's cottage got moved in. But I need to do something. I thought of just lattice work to put around the edge to keep him out, but I'll be honest with you, I don't want to have to stain a bunch of lattice work, and to me it rots after a while, and it gets flimsy. I don't know, that's just my opinion, because we had lattice work at our home growing up, and I guess that's what I'm thinking of. What I would like to do maybe is just rake this out really good, bring some of that topsoil from the pile we have over there, put in these holes, and then I would like to maybe just get something like cattle panel or something that has the squares to where the dog can't get up in there, but you can see through it, so visually it doesn't take your eyes away from the porch or whatever. I just want to stain the porch, make it look good, and then maybe put cattle panel things cut to fit around the edge. I'm gonna have to put a few extra boards on there so that I'll have something to put staples to hold that cattle panel stuff down on, but I think that's what I might do. Back to the starting point for the recap. This will be cleaned up. Hopefully that'll be straight with a bulkhead. Visually look a lot better. The porch will get stained. The TWP cedar tone color is what I like the best, and it makes it look like kind of like a cypress wood color. I think that immediately would jump out and look better over there. Some type of panel or arch, not right off the bat, but eventually it would cover the view of this meter box, but it'll be feet away from it so it won't interfere with the meter box. Clean up the rest of the backyard. Very hard to convey that from this distance on a phone, but trust me, if I just do a lot of mowing, cleaning, raking and stuff back there and moving those rocks, visually that will help. Trim the azalea tree to make it look like it's not a scraggler that just woke up in the morning. Keep it all clean and mowed around my sewer system, but I think the room with the view can look better. And as I say that, I'm looking at this corner of my carport where a lot of stuff has been shoved right now to get it out of the way. That's my mom's furniture. Right here, I may be putting, we're gonna just discuss it more, but I may be putting some 2-inch tall 24 by 24 paving, concrete pavers, and make a big rectangle area where they're all butted up together and everything. and we can take all that furniture there and set it out on it. So you would be looking out here and seeing a little grouping of furniture. Right now it's mix matched and it's peeling and stuff like that. We are maybe going to paint it all black with a good black spray paint and set it out here, or maybe get an enamel paint or something, but we're going to do something good, whatever it costs, to make sure it's got something good sprayed on it. This is my tool rack, which I love and I use so much, and it's going to stay. Sorry about that. There's stuff I can clean up all around it. But it's got to stay. I use that tool rack continually when I'm working in my garden and everything. But these cinder blocks will be gone. They're my brother-in-law's. He will take them when he comes. This is some old lawn chairs that probably have seen their better day. They're getting dry rotted. I can throw them out. The fan goes in the 18-wheeler. My uncle got it out the other day, but we don't really use it that much anymore. It'll go in the 18-wheeler. My husband's wheelchair is sitting there right now because I had to unload it from my car yesterday to get all the cinder type blocks that I use to go under those condensers. So the wheelchair will be gone, and all these boards right here are leftovers from the ramp. We just kept them around in case we needed to chalk anything or do anything right now. That'll be gone. I'll clean up all the cords. We have cords hanging around from plugging in different things. And this right here was yesterday's project. I had to go to the gas station and gas up all my cans. That'll be gone. So basically, once her furniture is moved out onto her little patio, all that will really be left here is my rack, and I'll make it neat and pretty. It's a workhorse, and I can't do without it. This is Lainey at Hilltop Home Place. This room with a view will hopefully have a better view here in the next few weeks. I'll keep you posted. I'll show you what's going on, and I'll show you the end result. And hopefully we'll have a before and after from right here, which will be visible to the naked eye, and it'll look better. That's what I'm hoping. Thank y'all so much for walking this walk with me and for letting me show you kind of what's going on around here and show you what's on my mind, because this mind of mine is working overtime right now. Any of your ideas, I would appreciate. Any of your input that might save me some labor, I would certainly appreciate. There's never been a time in my life when I said, you know what, I wish I had an excavator or a skid steer, but I wish I had one right now. I could do some little projects around here on my own and get things accomplished, but I don't. I don't have one, and I just need to get it done somehow. My neighbors could help me, we'll see. Y'all take care and let me know any ideas. I appreciate it. Put them in the comments. Let's rock and roll. Bye-bye.